Hey everybody, Ryan F. MTG here, and today we are going on with the set review of the brand new set, Battle of Amatsu, and this time we are talking about the green ones. There's a lot of green cards to talk about, so let's just jump right into it. First up, we have one of the legendaries. It's Eastern Light. It is 5 MP for a 2/8 legendary human. It has agility. I like agility because that means it's attacking every 5 seconds rather than 10 seconds. However, it says when placed on the field, halt this unit for 13 seconds. After that, gain +2 attack. Okay, that's kind of nice, maybe? I don't know. Halting for 13 seconds is basically just a little bit, well, 1 1/3 of a normal attack cycle. Because like I said, an attack cycle is 10 seconds. So this means you play this, it doesn't do anything. It halts there for 1 1/3 attack cycle, so this could get hit. However, it has 8 HP, so it probably will be okay getting hit, or your opponent can just use DD on it and kill it right away. But if this actually survives the 13 seconds, it gets +2 attack, so then it becomes a 5 MP 4/8 with agility. I like the sound of that. Not the waiting around part, but the 4/8 with agility, I like the sound of that a lot. Attacking, and yet again, attacking and agility triggers are fantastic together. Distribute points equal to friendly units on the field to your hero's life and friendly units' HP. So if this is the only thing on the board, it's just 1. If there's 3 things on the board, it's 3. That's that's a gravy attack trigger. It's not the reason you're going to be playing this. However, green really wants your heroes to gain life, your hero to gain life, because there's a lot of units and actions that gain life and get pumped when they gain life, give you effects. So it's kind of this like build around theme of this set for green. So this attacking trigger does really help that theme. I don't know. This card seems... If it didn't have the halt, I'd be like, oh, I'm all up in this card. This card is great. But it has the halt, and I'm just wondering how many times I want to play this. It does nothing, and they just use DD before it does anything, and then I feel very sad, and I may or may not cry about it. Who knows? Or how many times do they not destroy in the 13 seconds, and then it is a 4/8 with agility, and you're getting attacking, and then you're really happy, you're cheering, you're like, this is why I play Teppen. So ceiling's kind of high, floor is kind of low, and overall those types of cards are mediocre, but I'll definitely be playing Eastern Light to see how good it can be. Up next, we have the other green legendary unit is Sengoku Titan. It is 10 MP for a human machine. He's a really big boy. He's a 5/12. He's a really big boy. It has shield and anti-air. Victory, deal damage to a random enemy unit equal to this unit's HP. While on the field, all action cards effects that affect this unit become halt this unit for 5 seconds. Death, remove this card from the game. Okay, whole paragraph, let's break it down. 10 MP for 5/12. Do you want to play that? 5 attack is nice. 12 HP is so much HP, but 10 MP is a lot. That's the most expensive you can really be in Teppen. I don't know if I really want to play that card because that is such a high cost to play. However, shield is fantastic. That just means the first time it gets hit, it washes it away. It still has 12 HP. That's nice. Anti-air, it can be great when it's great or mean absolutely nothing. So anti-air is not making me play this card. Victory, I've said in the past, victory triggers are maybe dubious because you don't always get them, but with a 5/12, you should be getting a victory trigger, especially when it has shield too. Deal damage to a random enemy unit equal to this unit's HP, so you kill something, and it might kill another thing because it's the HP, and you can pump up the HP in green. So that victory trigger, I do see you getting victory triggers off of Titan, and that victory trigger is very nice. It's just board removal, unit removal left and right. While on the field, all action cards affected that affect this unit become halt this unit for 5 seconds. That is fantastic because the biggest downside of spending 10 MP is maybe your opponent just uses a 6 MP or 7 MP straight up removal spell. And then you're like, well, GG, I lose. But the biggest thing is I don't know. I was going to say the biggest thing is that you do halt it for 5 seconds, but 5 seconds is not that much, so maybe it takes a hit without hitting your opponent's unit, and Death It removes it from game. So this is doing a lot, but at the end of the day, yes, it's doing a lot, but it's still 10 MP. So that means you have to wait till your MP gauge is all the way up, you get to play this Titan, and then you can't do anything for a couple seconds, and that, I don't know, isn't that great, but it's this maybe the biggest boy we've had in Teppen, so you know I'm going to be playing it for a little bit. Chosokabe is up next, 5 MP for 2/5 human. When played, explore for the Rising Sun. We'll talk about that in a second. Also, it says, while on the field, give all machine units in your hand and EX pocket -1 MP. MP cost cannot drop below 1. MP reduction is good. However, this has to be on the battlefield, right? He has to be on the battlefield to get that MP reduction. It's not like, hey, all of your stuff gets this MP reduction, even when he dies, it still keeps that. No, he has to still be on the battlefield, and that really makes this a lot weaker. Also, this is a human, and it's only getting MP reduction to machines. So that whole paradigm, I don't really like that much. So how good is the Rising Sun? Let's take a look. It is a 5 MP 410 machine. Okay, tell me more. It has Heavy Pierce, Crush, and Spillover. That's a lot of keywords. However, this unit cannot counter. That kind of stinks. When placed on the field, remove this unit from the game after 45 seconds. 45 seconds is 4.5 attack cycles. So at most, this can do 4 attacks. That does a lot, right? That it has Heavy Pierce, Crush, and Spillover. Drop this in the middle lane, and this boat is just going to be literally spilling over damage left and right. It has Crush, so it will be able to stick around longer and longer. And it has Heavy Pierce, so if it kills something, it just domes your opponent. But it does have a self-destruct button. However, that self-destruct is basically, hey, this attacks for 4 turn cycles. I like the Rising Sun. I really, really do. However, I don't really like the card that you have to play to explore the Rising Sun. Because this card, in my mind, is more like, hey, here's a 5 MP 2/5 to explore for a card that you want to play, and then maybe you get some MP reduction. But, I don't know, you can basically wait till you have 9 MP, you play this card, and then you play the Rising Sun right there, and that might not feel too bad. So we'll kind of see. Water Dragon, 7 MP for a 3/8 beast. When played, if your hero's life is 15 or lower, distribute a total of 10 points between your friendly unit's HP and your hero's life. When your hero gains life, gain +1 attack, and you gain Spillover effective for 1 attack. This is doing a whole bunch of things. So let's break it down. 7 MP for a 3/8. 7 MP is a lot. 3/8's good stats. But I definitely want more keywords and abilities for 7 MP. The when played, so you basically always want to wait for your hero to be 15 or lower to always get that when played, it's 10 points trigger. 10 points is a lot, right? To either itself or other units or your hero's HP. 10 HP life points is a lot. Also, I do like the gain +1 attack and Spillover because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, you play this, as long as this gets 1 of those HP out of that 10 HP, it gets +1 attack and Spillover for its very first attack. So it's automatically becoming, you know, as long as your hero is 10 life, you play this, it becomes a 7 MP for a 4/8 with Spillover. And I've kind of alluded to this in the past, green really wants to be gaining life in this set. So anytime you play Simple Memories or some of the new cards, it might become a 5/8, a 6/8, and more and more and more. Water Dragon seems to have potential. I really like that. However, there's kind of this tug of war, as it were, because green wants to be gaining life and be at a high life total. And gaining life helps with that. This card wants you to basically have half of your life. That can make this card very much dead in your hand for a while. However, it's not completely dead. You can spend 7 MP for a 3/8, and it still does get that +1 attack and spillover. So maybe that is good enough within it of itself. So I could see this being like a 1 or a 2 of potentially in a life gain dot deck. Otohime is up next. 6 MP for a 2/6 with shield. When played, if your hero's life is 20 or higher, so yet again, something that a green card that wants you to be at a high life threshold, this gains MP boost of 30. When your hero takes damage, this card gets +1 HP. With that last clause, I want to play this like an X charge shot. But overall, 6 MP for a 2/6 with shield. As long as you're at 20 or higher life, this gains MP boost 30. Right there, you know what? I don't really want to play this card because MP boost 30 is good, but we see a lot of 3, 4, and 5 cost MP ramp units. This costs 6, and you don't always get that MP ramp. That doesn't feel that great. The taking damage, where it gets +1 HP every time your hero takes damage, can be really good, but sometimes green just floods the board and you don't take that much damage, or they kill this, then you start to take damage. So overall, I'm kind of off of this card. Ice Doom Mirror, it is 3 MP for a 2/5 Spirit, and it says, this unit cannot block enemy attacks. That feels bad. Attacking, if your hero's life is 30 or more, I find it funny that it says 30 or more because besides if they change something, you can't go above 30. You start at 30. If you're at 30 and you Sibilant Memories, you stay at 30. So this should just say 30, but whatever. This gains shield. I don't really like this card. Besides if Spirits is a humongous thing, I've said that in the past, but 3 MP for a 2/5 that cannot block enemy attacks. So that just means it's that enemy unit is just hitting you in the face with Ice Doom Mirror in front of it. And then attacking, the attacking trigger is very niche and it's kind of hard to get. Sometimes, maybe not. If you're playing tons of life game, maybe this is great. It's 30, right? It's not 20 or above or 15 or above. It's 30, and this just gains shield. It's a 2/5 that can get a lot of shields, but cannot really defend. Kind of off of it. Mr. Flower is up next. It is 3 MP for a 2/3. When played, give all other friendly units +1 HP, and your hero gains +2 life. So, here's my thing about Mr. Flower. It's kind of like what I've said about Spirits. If there is a health gain centric dot deck that has good payoffs, a good curve of units, good actions, then Mr. Flower will fit right in there because a 3 MP unit or a 3 MP 2/3 unit that gives all other, not itself, +1 HP, that's nice. And your hero gains +2 life, that can go a long way. If there's not really that deck, this probably won't see that much play. Well, we'll have to wait and see. Kennyo, 5 MP for a 3/6 with spillover. Death, if this unit has heavy pierce, give a random friendly unit +2/+2 off this card. Why in the world is there 5 MP 3/6? Those stats are fine with spillover. That's fine. But why is the death trigger if this unit has heavy pierce? It doesn't say spillover. It says heavy pierce. It gives a random friendly unit +2/+2. Maybe I should be aggressively off this card. Just don't like this card. I don't know how much, like 5 MP for a 3/6 with spillover is something that you definitely can play, especially if you're playing other action pump spells. So maybe I'm not off this card. This could definitely be a build around, but I'm really off the death effect of heavy pierce giving +2/+2. Do not like that part. Tsuruhime is up next. 4 MP for 1/8. When your hero gains life, give all friendly green units +1 attack. Of note, this is all friendly green units, including herself. So 4 MP for 1/8, that's a lot of HP. This will stick around besides off of hard removal spells. 1 attack is very low. However, you start to gain life, this starts to throw around +1 attack. It pumps itself, it pumps your other units. This is the type of card that makes me really excited for a life gain strategy. Bell Guardian is up next. 4 MP for 2/5 Spirit. When your hero gains life, give all friendly green units +2 HP. Yet again, this is maybe potentially good in Spirits, but it's starting to make me really like the sound of a life gain strategy, because throwing around to all friendly green units +2 HP whenever your hero gains life, it's kind of like this card. It's starting to get me very excited. Ice Mouth, which reminds me a lot of Scrubs. Yes, I'm rewatching Scrubs, so that's why that's in my brain. But JD's, I believe he calls it his ice ton of, sticking a ice cube in his mouth before he kisses somebody. Anyways, Ice Mouth. 3 MP for 1/7 spirit attacking. If your hero's life is 30 or greater, gain +1 attack. I don't know, this could... Ice Mouth could... I don't know. Like I said, 30 or greater, like, that's a high life total. That's the 100% of your life. You cannot lose anything. But if you're playing tons of Sibling Memories and other ways to gain life, you could be at 30 for a while. This is a very good opener card to have in your... a card to have in your opening hand, because a 3 MP for 1/7? 7 HP is a lot for just 3 MP. 1 attack is not a lot, but every single time it attacks, it starts to build up. So I don't know, this could be a good 3 MP play. It's kind of how much are you gaining life and how many times are you really at that 30 threshold? Because if you're not at that 30 threshold, this is not a good card. Tay, a new little owl buddy who looks very, very sad. He is 3 MP for 1/7. When your hero gains life, gain +1 attack. I like this card. I like this card probably more than Ice Mouth right now, but kind of very similar, right? It's 3 MP for 1/7. However, it starts to pump itself up whenever your hero gains life through any means necessary. So a unit, an action, whatever. This, yet again, I've said this with a couple cards, is making me very excited for life gain deck, because it's great to have a curve of units, and especially if that curve can start at 3 MP, and Tay seems very, very good and very efficient. Take 5 MP for a 3/6 awesome looking wolf with heavy pierce. No. Sorry, Wolf. I wanna like you, but I don't think I'm probably going to be playing you. 5 MP for a 3/6, like, 3/6 is fine, but I really want something more out of my 5 MP play. Heavy Pierce is a good keyword, but I like agility or flight or crush more. Yes, if you pump up Take with actions, this could be really good. However, I think there's just other better green units to be playing. Orca, 4 MP for 4/2 with shield, and kind of like with Take, there's just other better green units to be playing. Is this card terrible? Probably not. Am I going to play it? No. Moving on to the actions, and of course we are starting with the legendary one. Power of Shared Bonds, 5 MP, all friendly units gain death, give all friendly units +1/+3. So dream case scenario, you have 3 units, you play Power of Shared Bonds, they don't kill anything in response. All 3 units get the death +1/+3 effect, and one dies. Before anything else dies, you place another one, and you keep on doing that. So you are getting big beefy units, and then playing small units that will get beefy when those beefy units die. This could be a cool domino effect, and maybe it will play out that way. But maybe it plays out where you have 2 units, you play a 5 MP action, they kill one of your units, and then that unit just has the death trigger, which doesn't seem good. However, domino effects in Teppen can be very, very powerful. Right off the bat, I'm thinking I don't really like Power of Shared Bonds, but I have been wrong with some legendaries, with the Trinity, for example. However, I'm saying I'm probably not going to be playing Power of Shared Bonds because I think there's other better things to be playing that are probably cheaper, more efficient, maybe less domino effect, but cheap and efficient can go a long way. The time has come. 3 MP. Place a unit from your opponent's deck with an MP cost of 5 or less onto your opponent's field. Then place a green unit from your deck with an MP cost of 5 or less in the slot in front of your opponent's placed unit. Very interesting. This is kind of something we've seen in like Ouroboros, Wesker Ouroboros decks, rather than not from the graveyard, from decks. So you give your opponent something, but you get something. Right off the bat, I was like, oh man, this could be cool in some like very meme combo centric deck that you just have like a couple 5 MP or less units that you are playing, such as like, Sigma or something like that. However, this is place a green unit. That makes me more sad. However, you could try to get really fancy with Kami or something like that. I don't know. In a regular green deck, I don't see playing this card, but in a combo green deck with maybe Kami or something like that, this could be kind of fun. Power Charge is 3 MP, give +1/+2 to a friendly unit. If your hero's life is 20 or higher, give +1/+1 to all other friendly units. I like this card. I think this card could be a good card potentially in the life gain strategies. And I say potentially because this is doing a lot, right? If you're 20 life or more, it's +1/+2 to one thing, and then it spreads the love and gives +1/+1 to everything, and that can go a long way. However, in my mind, I'm thinking a lot of my actions in a life gain strategy, I want to be gaining life. But there are some units that when they gain plus attack or plus HP, they gain life. So maybe this sees some play. Deity's Protection is 2 MP for adorable art. I just love this. A boy and his dog or wolf goddess, as it were. Your hero gains 2 life. Okay, this is life gain payoff, right? Memory 2, which Memory 2 is super easy to get. Instead, your hero gains 4 life. Okay, that's good. Not as good as Sibling Memories, because I believe that is 2 MP for 6 life, but this is 2 MP, Memory 2 for 4 life. However, if you have Memory 4, additionally distribute points among friendly units HP equal to the amount of life restored to your hero. So, as long as you have Memory 4, this becomes 2 MP for gain 4 life and throw 4 HP around to your units. And that is definitely a very good card because a lot of units want to gain HP and then they gave your hero health or something like that. This seems very good, very fun, and very much in the vein of what green wants to be doing, at least the life gain strategy of green in this set. Final Revelation, 4 MP, draw 2 cards and put them into your EX pocket. Give all unit cards in your hand and EX pocket +2 HP. If you have all units in your hand and EX pocket and everything's getting +2 HP, that goes a long way. However, this is 4 MP and does not affect the board at all. It's 4 MP, draw 2 cards. And sometimes we see MP reduction with those cards, but no, we're just seeing +2 HP to anything that's a unit in your hand or EX pocket. That can go a long way. I'm a little hesitant though, and that's why I'm saying it can go a long way, because green usually wants to be playing units and then pumping up shields or HP or maybe gaining life with your hero and stuff like that. And Final Revelation doesn't help with any of that stuff. Not a thing. But it does give +2 HP to a lot of units, potentially. What I'm trying to think of is like, Final Revelation, and then use something like A-Trans to copy what you have in your EX pocket and do all that to kind of like see where this could have some combo potential. Because Purifying Sparkle Arrow, it is 3 MP, give all friendly units +2 HP, and both heroes gain 1 life. You might be like, oh man, that stinks that I'm gaining 1 life to my opponent. However, you're gaining 1 life. Where do I want to play Arrow? I want to be playing in a life gain deck. And when I gain life, my stuff, usually my units might be getting pumped up and stuff like that. I think this could go a long way. Yes, 3 MP is not high for an action, but I love 1 or 2 MP actions. 3 MP is not too high. Give all friendly units +2 HP, like that could be a lot. If you have 3 units, that's 6 HP. Even if you just have 1 unit, 6 HP plus 1 life to you, hopefully that unit cares about your life total or gaining life. I could see Arrow doing a lot of work. Mechanical Trap Room, 2 MP. This is what I'm talking about. Love me some 2 MP actions. Give a friendly unit +1/+2. Okay, that's not bad. I wish you gained some life, but whatever, we can't ask for everything. This isn't bad. 2 MP for a +1/+2 is actually pretty darn good, especially if you are playing some units that, like, when you gain HP or gain attack, it does something else that this can start, like, a chain of effects. That's really good. And base power level, hey, if you want to pump up your stuff, this is pretty good, right? There's nothing too much to say about this. It's solid. The Gura Shuffle, 1 MP. This is what I'm talking about. Let's see if this is going to be broken. Give +1 HP to a friendly unit. Your hero gains +2 life. This card, said it in the past, I'll say it again. If life gain is going to be a thing, and Teppen is throwing more and more and more life gain actions and units at us, this card is going to be really good. 1 MP is great for an action, super, super cheap. Giving 1 HP to a friendly unit, might not seem like a lot, but if that unit has an effect, like I've said in the past, that it triggers that effect, and your hero gains 2 life. 2 life might not be that much, but it triggers any effect that you care about your hero gaining life. So I think Shuffle, even though it's maybe doesn't seem that great of just like, oh, it's just 1 HP and 2 life, it's for 1 MP, and maybe those things are triggering, and that could be great. The Meathead Special, 3 MP, give +3 attack to all friendly units with Heavy Pierce. Yeah, so this is a Heavy Pierce build around. 3 attack is a lot, but this is 3 MP, and things have to have Heavy Pierce, and I don't see this being enough because I would not play this card for 3 MP, give 1 unit +3 attack. Because if you want to be pumping up your Heavy Pierce unit, as long as you just have 1, you can just use Slash and normal attack pumps. Yes, they might not be 3 attack, but they're going to cost 1 or 2 MP. Yes, you could make all Heavy Pierce work and have 3 Heavy Pierce units, and then in that case, I'll say kudos to you, this card is fantastic, but Meathead Special, I'm probably not ordering it. Water Dragon's Roar, 3 MP, give +2 attack and Heavy Pierce to a friendly unit. Maybe I'm eating my words with Meathead Special and that unit that, cared about Heavy Pierce that I said I was off very fast. Because 3 MP, give +2 attack and Heavy Pierce to a friendly unit. That's a lot, right? +2 attack is a decent amount of attack, but for 3 MP, that's not worth it. But if it's a big, beefy creature and you're giving it Heavy Pierce, or that unit wants Heavy Pierce because it gets a death trigger or whatever, this could go a long way. But this also could just be a 2-for-1 in a nutshell, and I don't know. All of a sudden, they're wanting me to play with Heavy Pierce things, and I'm not really seeing why I want to be doing it. Maybe I'm too down on it. Maybe it's just going to be the dream and we're going to live in Water Dragon's Roar world. Anti-Air Arrow is the last green card. It is 2 MP, give a friendly unit +1/+1 and anti-air. I'm kind of off this card. 2 MP for +1/+1. There's other pump spells that I would rather be playing. Anti-air can be a very good keyword if there's a lot of flight units in the meta, or it can be a keyword that does absolutely nothing. So maybe this is meta dependent, but right off the bat, I'm probably not playing this, and besides the meta is like 90% flight units, I'm probably not playing this. But those are all the green cards. Green had a lot of promise. It has a lot of cards that just seem rawly good, some cards that seem okay, some cards that seem passable, or I'm going to pass on them, right? Not passable as in they're okay, I'm passing. However, they have a lot of build around potential. And the biggest build around potential that I'm excited for is the life gain dot deck. And it seemed to give us a lot of stuff, a lot of payoffs, and a lot of ways to enable those payoffs. So I'm very excited for that. But thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time for the purple cards.